Good afternoon. This is Larry Eater with RunBlogRun, and we're going to talk about two things today. On this video, or this audio, we'll talk about Friday night at Hayward Field. Friday night at Hayward Field was started in 2010, 2011 by the folks at Nike. It was an extension of the pre-classic, and it was dedicated to some of the events that were not being held during the pre-classic, which is 3 hours of absolutely crazy track and field. I challenge anybody at the pre-classic day to find the perfect event because there's so many great ones. But on Friday night, it started with distance events, and in 2011, Moses Mosop ran world records at 25 and 30K. And there were some youth events, and they've tried all kinds of things there. But this year, as an example, what they've been doing the last 3 years, and the highlight of the evening was the men's 10,000. There was a women's 5,000. There was a women's long jump discus. There was a men's shot put, and there were high school elite 400s and a USATF 800 meters. For women, the USATF 800 meters for women was won by Alyssa Montano a couple years ago. You guys remember her running while pregnant at lovely Sacramento at the U.S. Champs and running a 2:32. And her baby was born and healthy as can be, and lovely 2-year-old now. And Alyssa was here and a very tightly contested 800 meters. She won in 2 flat .78. Really starting off her elite season for 2016 in the Road to Rio pretty impressively. You had Kate Grace in there, right behind her at 2:01, and it was a strong field. Laura Raisler was kind of flat, who had finished 4th at the World Indoors and had done well in her last couple races and ran, I think, about 2:02. But it was a good race. There's going to be a lot more 800s coming up, so we'll see how that crew does. In the women's long jump, it came down to Brittany Reese and Ivana Spanovic. Not big jumps. 692 is the winning one by Ms. Reese, and she won by 1.5 inches over Ivana Spanovic, the European champion. And Spanovic was the one who challenged Brittany at the World Indoors, where Brittany went out and just boomed it with her 721 indoors. And so pretty impressive jumping. Watch for some big stuff from Brittany, and watch for some stuff from Ivana Spanovic. It's going to be kind of cool to see. But there'll be some surprises in the long jump, so be careful. Tiana Bartoletto, of course, who's, world champion. So we'll have to see how that goes as well. The men's shot put, our friend Joe Kovacs is back, and in the third round, he just busted it open in his 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then his 6th with 22:13, 72.7. He's got the world leader. He looked great. And check out RunBlogRun's Instagram. We've got some great pictures of him. But Joe Kovacs is a tremendous athlete, coached by Art Venegas, the man who helped develop John Godina and many others. And Kovacs is arguably the best shot putter in the world. Mr. Storl, David Storl from Germany, probably wouldn't like to hear that, but Storl and him will be duking it out. So we'll see how they do in Rio. But first, as everybody knows, you got to get through the U.S. Olympic trials. Reese Hoffa will be at the trials for the last time. We hear Adam Nelson is making a run for it too. This would be his 4th Olympic team. So it's going to be tough to make it on the U.S. Team. We'll have to see. The shot put is going to be one of the toughest events for July 1 through 10 in lovely Eugene. After that, we watched the women's discus, and Sandra Perkovic, who was behind for the first couple. That's because she fouled. The third one, she threw 2:05. And then she busted her move, and she won in, what was it now? 68.56. So a 2:24.11. Yeah, big throw. She looked fantastic. She was just killing it out there. But Perkovic is, again, the top most dominant athlete in her event, and it'll be fun to watch her as she as we get closer to Rio. And we'll see her at a few other events this year. The women's 5,000 was fast from the start, and Helen O'Beary got out there and was running like the great late Australian Ron Clark, from the front, gutty and fast. And she had 12 women chasing her, and in 11th place was Molly Huddle, the American record holder, at 14:42. With 2 laps to go, Molly had to run 2 minutes 15 for the last 800. She ran about 2 minutes 20, running 14:48.14. The American leader, and the third fastest time, I believe, third or fourth fastest time ever by an American. But one thing's for certain, Molly's just coming down from altitude. And once she gets her flatland feet back, watch that American record could go. But that's not the key. Molly wants 2 things: make the U.S. team and also medal in Rio. Those are the keys. And my guess that's going to be the 10,000 meters, but we shall see. In the 10,000, for the 3rd time in 3 attempts, Mo Farah won the pre-classic 10,000, this time in 26:53.71. His second fastest time here. Mo always tries to run fast here, but I think it's hard. It's not about the pace setting, because the pace setting was just about perfect. They went through 5 in 13:23 too. It's that you've got kids coming out of the woodwork, like the bronze medalist in the 2014 World Juniors, and I'm going to mess up his name, Kosemeni, and then with a lap to go, William Satonic decided at 350 to go he was going to win the 10,000, and he charged by Mo, and Mo's like, man, I've just dealt with some guy and broke him, at 9,000 meters. I got this stuff going on now too. What's happening? But again, I think it portends for what's going to happen in Rio. There's 12 athletes in fields like Pre that, no, they beat Mo. They're set for life. He's the king of swing. He is the most dominant 10,000 and 5,000 meter championship runner out there. Camwar hasn't got him on the track, and neither has anybody else since 2011. But notice that Ibrahim Jalian, 26:56 and 26:58, and that's his first PB since 2006. Now, why should you care? Well, in 2011, he was the last guy to beat Mo over 10,000 meters. And then also, Sirsazi Tadese, who's been winning World Half Marathons for a bit, came back to the track and ran 27:00.78, man. So there was 5 guys under 27 minutes. There were 19 under 28 minutes. It was a pretty impressive race out there. And Eric Jenkins ran 27:48. And that was, that's good for his, first serious 10,000. But as he's learning, there's a lot of fast people out there. So Friday night at Hayward Field, a couple years ago, honored Jeff Hollister, the first promo guy at Nike. Jeff was a good friend. I learned a lot from him, and we lost him in 2011 to cancer. A good man, and a man who taught me that Bill Bowerman did not like that word coach, among other things. But, we got jets going by. Sounds like an F-16 or something, or probably the Air National Guard flying around looking for things. But Jeff Hollister and Nelson Ferris were the guardians of Nike history, and with Jeff gone and Nelson cutting back, I hope that Nike still sees that history is very important. It's part of the reason why the pre-classic is so important too. The staff under John Capriati, the sports marketing director for athletics, works for months to make this meet work. Not only is it about the meet, but again, and I'll say this in the second part in a little bit, it's a positive affirmation for athletics. They need to remind Nike employees that running, yes, as Mark Parker, CEO, says, is in their DNA, and they have to do it day after day after day. The reason why this is the greatest meet in North America, the reason why the pre-classic saved European-style track in North America in the 90s when everybody was, talking about the sports to mice, is because it's important. It's because there's a guy there named Tom Jordan, meet director for 3,000 years, who loves this meet and who I see at the end of each meet on Saturday totally exhausted, but they've got a great staff. They've got great volunteers, and Friday night goes off without a hitch, close to 9,000 people Friday night and 12,000 people on Saturday. But I'll talk a little more about Saturday in our next one. This is Larry Eder signing off from his chat with his friends about Friday night at Hayward Field, May 27th, 2016. Speak to you soon.